it's one thing to make a lot of money, but it's another thing to actually put that money towards where it's supposed to go, whether it be debt, savings, investing, stuff like that. And oftentimes, it's not that you have necessarily an income issue. It's you're managing, how you manage your current income, money, and stripping yourself to the bare minimum of expenses is crucial to get to what you want to do, which is pay off debt. So tap in, let's get into it.
Stay looking at your life and you didn't think it'd end like this. I know you stay awake trying to make the mistakes that you made feel right. I know.
Alright, so while going bro, welcome back to another installment of edutainment. My goal on this channel is to make sure that you're entertained, that you are laughing, but most importantly, that you are learning something that you can apply to your own personal life and make it better. So we're going to be going into some detail about how to pay off debt on a low income. And like I said, before you think about picking up an extra side hustle and making money online or whatever it is important to strip your expenses to its bare minimum so that you have, all of a sudden, you are making more money. You know what I'm saying? Because if you have a Netflix bill that you're paying, or you're always eating out, it's having more money coming in is only going to go towards these other things, right? So once you can budget and be mindful of what it is you are currently spending and doing, then you can look towards other sources of income to pay down debt, student loan, credit card payment, whatever it is.
Do you understand?
But no long talk, let's get into it. How to pay off debt fast on a low income.
So today we're going to be talking about how to pay off debt on a low income. Hello fellow wealth builders and welcome to the TruFinancials channel. My name is Denis. If you are new to this channel, I do like to talk a lot about personal finance, investing, and retirement to help build your wealth. So definitely consider subscribing today. And don't forget to hit that little bell icon to get notifications when new videos do come up. So the most important thing to look at when you're looking at paying off debt on a low income is to know your income to debt ratio. And what I mean by that is, are you making $20,000 a year and have $100,000 in debt? Or are you making $30,000 a year and have $25,000 in debt? So it's really good to know how much you have obviously coming in versus going out when it comes to incomes and debts. Now, you might already have this number, but if you don't, I would highly encourage you to know exactly how much you owe in your debts and how much you're actually
taking inventory of every single debt that you owe right now. Have legit, write down, have a spreadsheet if need be of all the debts, largest or smallest to largest, that you owe.
And I owe.
So that you know where exactly you stand. Because sometimes I personally, in the past, I just had an idea. I have debt, but I don't know the exact amount, right? What is the exact amount of debt that you currently owe straight up right now? Do you know that amount?
are getting in on your income if you're not 100% sure. All right, so once you know your income to debt ratio, then we can kind of get started and see what's going to be the best option for you when it comes to getting out of debt. So the first and foremost thing, regardless of how much you make in income, whether you make millions of dollars a month or thousands or even hundreds of dollars every single month, the most important thing to do is live below your means. Now, you might have heard this before, but it is tried and true when it comes to your finances. You have to make sure that what you're spending is less than what you're actually earning every single month, because to be able to build wealth, you have to have some money set aside, and that is very difficult if you are spending all of your money. And a lot of people, believe it or not, no matter how much they make, are always overspending and living above their means. So the best way to actually...
That's how you get situations where people are making 100K, 120K, 150K, 200K, and still broke.
Told me I take my job a little too seriously, but
How could this happen to me? I made my mistake.
Because they got into a house they couldn't afford, they picked up all of these car payments that are eating away at their income and stuff like that. So one of the very like nitty-gritty things you can do just at home to save money, obviously don't eat out, cook at home. In your house, don't leave the lights on if no one is there. If no one is there using the light, turn it off. Unplug everything in your house. When you leave your house, turn the heater down instead of maybe 22, 21, put it to 18. My dad always does this. He's so conscious of money and spending and stuff like that. And rather than showering with a shower head from your house, use a bucket, clean yourself up. That will save you so much money. Obviously, don't leave the water running on the tap, stuff like that. All this little income expenses, they add up. So it's something to think about.
actually combat living above your means is to figure out where all your money is going. And that's going to be in the simplest format of a budget. And if you're not a big budget person, I would just highly recommend just for 1 month, just put all your income and all your expenditures. And you can do it for a month that already passed by. Just put everything that you had from your online statements from your bank, so that way you can see where your finances are going. As I mentioned, a lot of times people will have their money going in certain directions. So whether it's eating out, entertainment, or something that they have as a hobby and they may be overspending in that category, what that does is when you put your income and expenditures out, you're going to really be able to see your finances as a whole. And that's going to really be able to help you out when it comes to wanting to get to the next portion, which is paying off your debts. So once you get it all figured out, once you figure out where your money is going out in, and you're able to cut that back a little bit, then it comes time to the most important part, is how do you start paying off this debt? And the way that you're going to start paying this off is there's two different methods. There's the debt snowball and the debt avalanche. And I actually have put a video together, and I'll link that up above here, so that way you can check it out. And it'll go into a little bit more detail on which one might be preference for you. But I personally recommend the debt snowball, and the reason for that is because it's going to be able to get momentum going for you. And that's a big part of getting out of debt, is getting that momentum built up. And it might be tough when you have a very low income to be able to attack that debt, but every little bit counts the more you can keep adding to it. So if your minimum payment, let's say, is about a $25 minimum, but you can add $30 instead, that extra $5 will really benefit you in the long term, because it's going to keep attacking that debt. And so when you keep doing it that way, you can keep adding more and more to it.
This is extremely beneficial if you currently have student loans. Oftentimes, what I found for myself even is when I did have like a lot more student loans, is like you are not saving for the moment you have to pay it back throughout your college, university experience. You just, all of a sudden, your graduation day, a couple months or a month later, you get the letter from OSAP, Sally Mae, whatever it is, and boom, you have nothing saved up over these last 4 or 5 years, if you're fifth year, to pay towards that debt. So all the income you're getting, just get into the habit of putting at least 20% of your income towards your savings account, or more if you can, so that by the time, I don't know, you have the student loan payments to come in, you already have a lump sum ready to attack it, and you're not blindsided by the payment. That's something to think about for student loans and stuff like that.
Regardless of how low your income is, but as long as you are figuring out the best methods to put towards that debt, then that's where you're going to be able to succeed very well, and be able to get yourself out of those debts, and then be able to have more wealth every single month, and then be able to continue to build your personal finances and get to a point in your life where you're not having to worry about having a low income, and you can live comfortably with what you have. And of course, there is also the way of increasing your income. Now, I know this might seem a little daunting or easier said than done, but there are a couple of things that you can look into. One is going to be a part-time job. I've talked about different ways you can hustle to actually increase your income, so that way you can attack debt, and I'll have that linked above here as well. And then the other things that you can do too is look at your current situation. Are you in a job that you have potential opportunity for growth, and what can you do to actually get those opportunities? Are you having to have conversations with your management team or your staff, so that way you can let them know, like, hey, I am interested in moving on up? Or is it something where
some of the other things you can do is get yourself into a focus group, and you get paid for your time, your the data that they collect on you. And also, if you can, this is a bit more of a involvement, but it's to rent your room or a part of your basement out for Airbnb. That's something to think about. Those two definitely, like online, contrary to popular belief, is actually a long tail game with regards to making money online, especially having a full ass business that you can rely on. Yeah, it's not that quick as they seem.
Something where you're kind of stagnant in that position, so you might have to look for a different position but with the same skill set, and I would highly recommend that too. So if you're stuck at a spot where maybe you can go find another job that pays an extra $1 or $2 more, that might be really worth it, because then they might have additional opportunities for you at that location or that company to help you grow as an individual and also grow your income as well. And again, I know that might seem a little out of place, because you think about it, yeah, of course you want to have more income, but you have to put yourself out there. You have to be willing to actually go forth and try to be able to increase your income. You can't just expect it from companies. You can't just say, well, I'm going to wait for my yearly raise to be able to get my income increased. Go after it. Go try, new places. Put in resumes to different places. And it can be tough. It can be hard, but it will be definitely well worth it for you if you can help increase that income, because when you increase that income, then you can help attack that debt, as long as you're living below that means and not increasing your lifestyle in the meantime while you increase that income. All right, and in the comment section down below, let me know as well if you have any questions based off of having a low income.
That last part about not increasing your lifestyle when you get more income is so crucial. So mother effing crucial.
I said what I said.
Imagine all the rappers who are making bank right now, who aren't, because as a rapper, for in the entertainment industry, it's really like waves. Sometimes you're hot, sometimes you're low, and you gotta be able to manage the money you're currently getting. Even if you're making a lot of income right now, manage the money you're currently getting for the rainy day or for the, emergency day. So once you've stripped your expenses to its bare minimum, then you can start looking at increasing your income. Because most of the time, it's not an income issue necessarily, it's a money management issue that we all typically have, right? If you don't tell your money where to go, you'll always wonder where it went. So other things to think about are becoming a waiter on the side. Usually the hourly wage isn't that high, but the tips usually can accumulate, especially if you're in a very busy metropolitan area, stuff like that. So I have some other videos about the best side hustles to implement in the cards up here, so definitely check that out. But yo, God bless, much love, peace and joy. Namaste. Always remember, if it doesn't feed you, don't water it. Whatever you're watching, whatever you're listening to, whatever you're eating, because our diet is more than just what we eat. It's everything that we consume. And remember as well, too much of any good thing is good for nothing. All right, my G, all the more success to you on your debt journey. Stack your money, act broke, get your bread, and all the crumbs too. Deuces, bro.
Stay looking at your life and you didn't think it'd end like this. I know you stay awake trying to make the mistakes that you made feel right. I know you